Now I have walked the distance from the ER discharge to the methadone clinic. The taxi cab drove me last time. I'm going to walk down to the intersection where I was put in an ambulance, and I'm just going to leave this running and see if there's enough storage space on my phone to get there. And we can discuss things like the cost of gasoline, the cost of emergency room visits. The last time someone I know called an ambulance, it was Jade regarding myself having fallen on the ground and hit my head and had a small seizure the day of having a root canal. Josh Stevens was there, and I hit my head on a checkerboard floor. I should say it is interesting to me because there was a dog with a checkerboard shaved into its side at the scene where I was put in the ambulance, not years ago, but days ago. So what this has to do with the wink of the left eye of the dog, and the time before that anyone I know took an emergency room ride here in Seattle, it was for a distance about as long, and it was Jade, and it cost about $1,000, I think. Anyhow, Jade is somebody who's not in my life anymore because, as far as I understand, somebody named Brian. And what was Nurse John, the sadist who strapped my legs too tight? What was the name of the nurse that was assisting Nurse John, the sadist who strapped my legs too tight and who was in control, supposedly, of the situation? Brian. The one that was kind to me was Brian. He gave me a sandwich. He didn't make me feel like something weird and fucked up was about to happen. I wasn't concerned about him trying to suck my dick or not, or making me suck his or not, or anything that I found to be subhumanizing, dehumanizing, subjugating, or incredibly fucking cruel or rude. Whereas Nurse John, I felt very much that way about. Anyhow, Brian is the name of the man with whom Jade spends most of her time now. What money has to do with all of this, I'm still not quite sure. But we're almost to the other intersection, so whether I'm doing $1,000 worth of work right now, well, I'm not fucking acting. A man locked his keys in a car over here recently, or no, his alarm was going off repeatedly. And he said he'd lost his keys or some shit like that. So I walked up to the police station and I told them about this. And then I walked back down here. I saw two officers on bicycles talking to the man. That was satisfying for me because I don't like having to do other people's work for them. And it was nice to see people on bicycles. What that has to do with bicycles that have been stolen, crimes that are or are not reported, and doors that are locked or not locked, and police departments that we'll be visiting after this trip to the intersection of the Wintonian, Starbucks Reserve, and the restaurant where my best friend Trent, whose dad works for Merck, is. We'll see. And something about a shitty quote, narcissism, and who is your daddy and what does he do, and stuff you see on YouTube or not. People who get paid for things or not. And places where really, really fucked up dreams occur. So we can see the intersection from here. I'm going to point down at it. Down there at Starbucks Reserve. To the left is the Wintonian, a building full of people who are supposedly drug addicts, or whatever they are, low-income housing, or, whatever they are. Sarcasm there. And then to the right are a bunch of businesses that sprung up recently. One of them is Taylor Shellfish, a place where last night I tried to go to sleep but could not because a vehicle rolled up, scraped its tire against the curb, and I felt uncomfortable. That is also the site where I, how to put it, went into some sort of strange form of opiate withdrawal after hearing some melody on the street. What this has to do with electricity and fucking crimes, well, people in my life named Taylor, or Taylor Series, or not Taylor Series, autism or not autism, and Emily, ex-boyfriends and or not. So, across the street from Taylor Shellfish is the restaurant where Trent, my best friend from childhood, works. Trent, who was our waiter at Blue Acre when I went to dinner the week of the Youth Care fundraising luncheon. Did I know Trent would be our waiter? No. Did Trent know he would be our waiter? I don't fucking know. Trent doesn't talk to me very much. Something about Nurse John the controller, and wondering if I was being initiated into a cult that I didn't want to be in. Or not. So, this is where, hey, look at that. Is that an ambulance over there? This is where I was, I don't know what to call it, illegally restrained, I guess is the way to put it, yeah. Where I was illegally restrained and without proper documentation taken to a hospital. This is apparently the restaurant where Trent works. There's Taylor Shellfish. This is somewhere I slept until recently in a doorway because, well, no one pays me for all this shit. So now I'm going to go to the food bank. On the way, I'm going to stop at the police station. I'm going to hope that this time they don't lock their doors like they did yesterday when I approached.